Welcome back, everybody, to Vibing with the Gizmos. And today I'm going to get into this fried chicken budget friendly meal. So if you're into that kind of food, then stay tuned. There was my seasonings, and this is the oil that I had left over from Thanksgiving when I deep fried my turkey. We're going to go ahead and get it into this pot and heat it up. I put it on high so it can heat up really quickly. Now we're going to go ahead and put out 1.5 cups of flour onto this plate, so that way we can season up this flour and get our chicken pieces coated up really nicely. So there's 1, 2, 3 ½ cup servings. Now we're going to go ahead and season up this flour with these seasonings here. Of course, we're going to just sprinkle it on until the ancestors say okay. And I like to have my chicken seasoned from the outside all the way to the inside. So don't be shy as to how much seasoning you put on here, as long as it's, just regular seasoning, not like the salt seasonings and stuff like that. So you want to be careful with the salt seasoning because, hypertension is real. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get this all into the flour and just sprinkle it out. And then after that, I love to mix it in because we want to have it evenly distributed throughout the flour. So when we dip our pieces in, each part of the chicken is evenly coated with seasoning on the outside. Now, the next thing after this, we're going to go ahead and show you the different seasonings. We're going to mix that up too because I want my seasoning again to be blended. I got 3 eggs, just a couple splashes of hot sauce will add such a nice level of flavor to our fried chicken. So mix, mix, mix. Now, whenever I'm ready to start recording, I'm just ready to go. So I apologize for my lighting over here. This is my assembly station, and we're going to go ahead and lay out these pieces. Now, when I first took this out the freezer, I did not know what kind of chicken it was or what kind of chicken pieces it was. I was like, what in the heck? But these are chicken thighs, and I bought them from the meat store. As you can see, they are huge. What we're doing right now is taking a piece of paper towel to get all of the moisture off of our chicken pieces. So I'm doing it on both sides because I was watching somebody on YouTube who had said that when you're doing fried chicken, for a nice crispy coating, you want to get rid of that moisture on the outside. So I'm like, okay, make it make sense. So here we are. We're going to do that to each piece of chicken that's in this dish that I'm going to be cooking up today. Now, after we get our chicken pieces nice and dry, of course, the next step will be to season it up, and then we're going to put it into our traditional egg wash and flour. So that's all we're going to do. So let's go through that. So we got some seasoning down. I love pushing the chicken pieces into the flour on my dish, and because I want all the nooks and crannies to be filled with flour for that delicious goodness. So we're just going to go ahead and put it all through. I love lifting the skin flap and putting it on the meat itself. So there you can see, we're just going to pretend like we're at the beach and just covering up our chicken into the sand. I want it to be full of flavor and deliciousness. Of course, we're going to shake off that excess. We're going to put it on our dish and just go to the next one and just keep the process going. All right, so sprinkle some seasoning again and rub it into your chicken. Make sure you give this chicken all the love and attention that it needs because, of course, when someone eats your food, you want them to know that you care and that you put some time and effort into your chicken. So we're just going to liberally season up that chicken and get that flavor all the way through. Now, if I had thought about it, I would have loved to season it prior to my frying it. It would have been already prepped, but sometimes I'm just in a rush. So I'm going to put it into this egg wash, multiple rotations into that egg wash. I'm going to lift it out, let it drip. Into the flour it goes, and again, press down because you want it to be fully coated with your flour. So I've pushed it down. Let's go ahead and lift up this honking piece of chicken and coat it liberally on the other side as well. If you're into budget-friendly content, whether it's food, travel, getting out of debt, things like that, that's what I love to do. I'm all focused on how to get the most of what you want or need out of life at the lowest price possible. And, Just because you're on a budget doesn't mean that you have to eat food that is not delicious or flavorful. All right, so we got our chicken fully coated there. Do apologize if you're not into people touching the meat, but okay. Our oil is nice and hot. I did test it by dripping some flour into the oil to make sure it bubbled up, because that's how I know my oil is ready. Now, into the fryer it goes. Look at that. Oh my goodness, you know it's real once it starts bubbling up like that. So, in it goes. Look at this. I don't know if I've ever seen something more beautiful before. Look at that. Okay, so on the side today, we're going to be making some yellow rice, and to go with that, we're also going to have some beans. So I'm going to just put some avocado oil into this little pot. Excuse the steam. And while that's heating up, I'm going to just show you the money shot again. Now, for my beans, I always start off with some sofrito. If you want to see the recipe for that, please look in the description box below. We're going to work with these red kidney beans, and we're also putting in some garlic. All right, so in it goes, juice and all. And that's pretty much like my go-to bean recipe. I always cook the beans pretty much the same way, whether it's kidney beans, pinto beans, garbanzo beans. It's pretty much the same recipe. So you see how thick that was? That means it was ready to go and be covered. So we're going to cover it up with the lid, and I'm going to turn the heat down to low. And I always set the timer for 20 minutes. And after 20 minutes, you are going to have the most perfect, delicious rice. So let it go. Now, whenever I'm making my beans, I always like to mash it up a little bit with my spoon or fork, so that way, I think it like releases the starch or something. It just feels good to do it, and I feel like it helps to thicken it up. I'm pretty sure there's a concept to that, but that's what I like to do. All right, so the next thing we're going to do now is add some hot sauce, because a little bit of hot sauce don't hurt nobody. The kids love it like this. It's not spicy, especially the Crystal brand. It's more like that vinegary taste. Now, I love using ketchup into the beans. Of course, if you don't have ketchup and you want to use tomato sauce, that's totally fine. I think maybe all in all, I probably put in about a 1/4 cup and just mix it up right quick. And now we're going to go ahead and look on our chicken. So the next thing we're going to put into the beans is this sazon Goya. This is really good for stews, meats, rices, whatever you're making. If you want to add a little extra flavor, please go ahead and do that. So this will just bring it up to a whole different level. So we got that sazon Goya in there. And what I'm going to do now is cover it up with this lid, and I think we're going to go ahead and turn down the heat to low, and I'll let this cook as well for as long as it takes for the rice to cook. It doesn't overcook it or anything like that. Look how beautiful this fried chicken is. Now, what I like to do, I don't have a meat thermometer or anything like that. I literally just push my fork into the meat, and of course, as long as no blood comes out and the fork slides in easily, that tells me that my fried chicken is ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and fish these bad boys out, and then once we get them out, we'll go ahead and start on the next batch. You don't want to overcrowd your chicken, because if you overcrowd the chicken in the pot, it will extend the cooking time, and it also lowers the temperature of your oil, so you don't want to overdo it. So here I'm just recoating this chicken, because it's been sitting out for a little bit now, with some flour, just to make sure that we get that crispy skin that we definitely desire when we're making fried chicken. So I'm just there covering it up, and then we're going to go ahead and shake off the excess and get this bad boy as well into the fryer. Now we got some love here on this chicken. Let's get it into the oil and watch it bubble up. Yep, there's the money shot into that big old pot of grease. So here's the final product. Look at this beautiful fried chicken, you guys. If you are into budget-friendly content, please be sure to hit that like button, comment below, and of course, subscribe. I wish you were here to enjoy.